Hi, I'm Jeffrey Hafkin. I'm a medical director at Otsuka, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank you all for inviting us here. This is always a great meeting, and I always enjoy attending. And talk to you today about some of the latest delamanid updates and briefly go through our various clinical trials and other program updates. So, next slide. Go back. Thank you. So I think most of you in this room know or aware that delamanid is nitroimidazoxazole. It inhibits mycolic acid, and specifically methoxymycolic acid and ketomycolic acid. And as of now, over 900 individuals have been exposed to delamanid in various clinical trials, 12 phase 1, 5 phase 2, 1 long-term outcome study, and we currently have 1 phase 3 study which is ongoing, and 2 pediatric studies which are currently ongoing. And just to mention, delamanid was identified in 2002, and our first in-human study program began in 2004. So in terms of our phase 3 program, we currently have ongoing a 30-month randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial. It's currently enrolled 511 MDR-TB patients from Peru, South Africa, the Baltics, Moldova, and the Philippines. One of the unique features of this study compared to our earlier phase 2 program is it does recruit HIV-infected patients who are on antiretroviral therapy, particularly in South Africa. It does use moxifloxacin in this trial. And the other component is it studies once-a-day delamanid in after 2 months of BID dosing. It has 4 months of 200 milligrams QD dosing. Now, currently, all patients have been enrolled, so we've enrolled our full complement of patients. All patients have completed their course of delamanid therapy. And as of now, 85% of patients have completed the study or are active, adherent, and alive as of this last month. We have vital status on greater than 99% of patients, so we're sticking very close to our patients and have very good follow-up. No new safety concerns have arisen to date. We expect to have database lock in December of this year, and hopefully sometime mid-2017 we'll have completed CSR with data to release. So our other ongoing delamanid trials is our pediatric program, which is trial 232 and 233. And basically there's 2 components. 232 is a PK safety study, and 233 is our long-term follow-up safety study. It was initially envisioned to be a de-escalation study on children from birth to 17, starting in the older age groups and descending downwards, using the adult tablet formulation in the 6 to 17-year-old patients and switching to a dispersible tablet, which you can see here. We're using both a cup and a syringe. We have trial sites in Philippines and South Africa. And we've completed enrollment in our above 6-year-old age group, and we are currently midway through enrollment in our 3 to 5-year-olds. And we just got a modification agreed upon with the EMA, which will allow us to move to parallel enrollment of our youngest age groups with our 3 to 5-year-olds after we've done a brief interim analysis. And what I can tell you so far, the children really find the pediatric formulation very palatable, and there's been no safety concerns to date. I should also mention that because of data generated in this pediatric trial, we've been able to open up our compassionate use program to younger age patients as well. So just as of this last month, there's been a new publication in Antimicrobial Agents and Chemotherapy, which describes baseline distribution of MICs in over 460 patients in both our 204 trial, 204, which is our phase 2B study, EBA study, as well as clinical isolates from Japan, and it provides you a distribution of the MICs. Based on this, we were able to identify an MIC cutoff, a critical concentration of 0.2 micrograms per ml. Of note, there were 2 patients in this sample who had naturally resistant, as far as we are aware, had no exposure to delamanid or nitroimidazoles before. Reason we chose 0.2 is it provides a nice cutoff, and based on the PK data generated in trial 204, greater than 95% of patients, their Cmaxes will be above this cutoff. I invite you all to take a look online. It's currently available. Another area in which we are soon to be publishing more data on is on delamanid resistance mechanisms. I think many of you are aware that nitroimidazoles the mechanism of resistance has been identified to involve the F420 bioreduction pathway, and what we found is that mutations in any of these 5 genes will lead to resistance to delamanid. And unfortunately, there's no hotspots which will easily allow us to have a rapid molecular test as of yet, but we do know that there's multiple types of mutations, insertions, deletions observed, and I think as more data accrues, we'll have a better understanding what's going on. But publication is in the works, and there should be more data on this publicly available soon. One of the other exciting features I'd like to highlight is that we're now actively involved in a number of collaborative research projects with many individuals here in this room. The ones here in blue are ones that are either funded or are very likely to be funded. And just to mention, going from the ones that we think are most likely to launch sooner are the Korean study, the MDR-NTB study, which will look at an all-oral fluoroquinolone-based delamanid regimen with linezolid for 9 months versus a standardized regimen, which includes injectable. We are eager to see the launch of a delamanid bedaquiline drug-drug interaction study being sponsored by DAIDS. MSF Partners in Health are sponsoring the NTB trial, which will look at 5 different all-oral regimens, shortened regimens for MDR-TB versus a standard of care. We're also very excited about a study of delamanid for drug-resistant LTBI, household contacts of patients exposed to MDR-TB. This will be a multinational study sponsored by DAIDS. A linezolid dose-ranging study in combination with delamanid, another DAIDS-sponsored study. And we're still interested in expanding our knowledge base in pediatrics, and we'll be working with IMPACT, also sponsored with DAIDS, to look at a broader cohort of MDR-TB infected children who are co-infected with HIV, looking at the use of delamanid. as well as DMED, looking at another delamanid injectable-free regimen versus standard of care. In terms of delamanid registrations, I think you're all aware that delamanid received conditional EMA approval in 2014, as well as approval from the PMDA, as well as the Korean Ministry of Food and Drug Safety. We're currently actively involved in the registration process in China, Hong Kong, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Turkey, as well as other countries. Just to mention, I think everyone here is aware that WHO has already published interim guidance on the use of delamanid, and WHO has added delamanid to the essential medications list. In terms of patient access, we should note that more than 600 patients have received delamanid in programmatic settings. We currently have ongoing expanded access programs, and the latest one we're most excited about is with Partners in Health and MSF, which will provide 1,800 patients in 16 countries with 6-month courses of delamanid. We're also actively looking at implementation projects with Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines, and South Africa, specifically right care in the South African Ministry of Health. We currently have an ongoing compassionate use program that started in 2014. It includes various high-burden countries. And as I mentioned before, as we've accrued more data in our pediatrics program, we've been including younger and younger age children in this group. And finally, another important development in allowing greater access to delamanid is the partnership with the Global Drug Facility, which was announced in February 2016. This will allow greater access to delamanid in 100 eligible low and middle income countries. It's something we're also very excited about. Thank you very much. So we're in discussions with them. I mean, one of the issues with South Africa is you have to have a local entity. We don't have Otsuka based in South Africa, so we're going to have to partner with a local company. So that those discussions have started, but the formal registration process has begun in those countries. Thank you.